The L pool is a great option if you've ever wanted to experience a structural failure in real time. You fill it up, turn around for 1 second, and every drop of water has already escaped down the long leg of the letter. It's like trying to store rain in a staircase. Diving from the top corner might look cinematic, but it ends with a hospital visit and a very confused doctor asking how you broke your entire body on a letter. Number 9. A. Somehow, A manages to be the opposite of a pool. The second you pour in water, it politely declines and slides it right off both sides. The central spine acts like a drainage system designed by someone who hates summertime fun. A might look sharp and symmetrical, but as a pool, it's basically a waterproof funnel. Number 8. O. At least O somewhat looks like a pool. A clean circle, contained walls, and decent depth. But hang on a minute, bucko, why don't you take a closer look? Yeah, that's right, there's no actual way in. It's completely sealed. You're basically staring at a decorative aquarium that mocks you with its perfection. You can see the water, you just can't use it. The whole experience just feels like one of those snow globes where you're on the outside tapping the glass, wondering what it'd be like to be inside. Oh well, guess you'll never know. Number 7. E. At first glance, E feels like it could work. 3 neat platforms, 1 big spine. What could go wrong? Well, everything apparently. Every pool you try to make instantly drains out of the open sides like someone pulled the plug. Literally. Rotated left though, E suddenly redeems itself. Those 3 arms turned into stacked, deep basins. A full resort experience, top to bottom. Sadly, that's what we like to call cheating, and we're respecting letter integrity in this one. So, unfortunately for E, it remains a glorified colander. Number 6. X. X is surprisingly elegant, suspended, balanced, and slightly dangerous. Like a pool designed by someone who works exclusively in concept art. I feel like Banksy might have had something to do with this one. But anyway, the central cross forms a raised intersection that could hold a shallow basin, sort of like a rooftop hot tub. It's not deep enough to swim in, but perfect for people who just want to sit, look mysterious, and pretend the pool won't collapse under them at any second. Number 5. M. M is where the concept of a pool finally starts to make sense again. A deep, centralized pocket, solid symmetry, and 2 built-in diving platforms for synchronized swimming. It's efficient and weirdly practical. Structurally, however, it's all downhill. Literally, since the middle dips just deep enough to make the whole thing feel like a natural spring designed by typography. Still, it's one of the few letters that can actually hold water without turning into an accident report. 4. W. Essentially, an M flipped upside down and twice as enthusiastic. W gives you a matching set of twin pools. Ideal for couples who want to swim near each other without committing to shared space. You could host 2 separate pool parties with 0 social overlap. However, there is a slight problem where the middle peak blocks your line of sight, so you'll keep thinking someone drowned when they're just on the other side having a drink. You might need some support beams though to keep up the arms from collapsing, but that's a small price to pay for the letter that finally understands teamwork. Number 3. H. H feels like it was designed by someone who actually enjoys pools. A massive tank with 2 high walls to give you some well-deserved privacy. You can swim laps from one side to the other whilst pretending you're crossing an ancient bridge. Also, the high walls double as diving platforms. It's simple, stable, and easy to drain, which makes it rare among the alphabet. H is basically the alphabet's Olympic pool. Number 2. G. Talk about top-tier engineering. G gives you everything you need: containment, shape, and a built-in diving board that feels intentional. The open corner lets you climb in with ease, while the inner curve keeps the water snug and secure. The round body means minimal splash loss, and if you position it just right, you've got natural shade under that top bar. The only real problem is explaining to guests why your pool looks like it's swallowing itself. Still, in terms of usability, G is the most fun you can have inside a semicircle. Honourable mention: S doesn't qualify as a pool, but it deserves credit for enthusiasm. It looks like the most chaotic water park slide ever conceived. A twisting, looping path that guarantees you'll arrive in the water faster than your swimsuit. There's a slight problem though, and that is that the pool doesn't actually exist. It's all entry, no destination. And here, there's no bonus points for broken bones. Sorry. Number 1. U. There was never any doubt. U is the clear winner. Literally built to hold water. Deep curve, smooth walls, no sharp edges to stub your toes on. It's the perfect natural basin. As if the alphabet briefly understood hydrodynamics. You can lounge, dive, float, everything just works. There's a sense of security in its shape, like it's gently hugging the water instead of trying to escape it. Every other letter feels like an argument against basic engineering. U just gets it. It's the king of pools, and the only letter you could confidently install in your backyard without ending up on a structural failure compilation. S is number 1, right? Wrong. It's number 10 in this list. S looks like it'd be a god-tier ride. Nice curve with perfect flow until you hit the first bend. Then the slide whips you sideways into Mach 3 into the second curve, which immediately hurls your body into a wall, a tree, or, if you're lucky, just the floor. You don't slide down S. You are yeeted through it. Number 9. I. You know what I is? A test. A cruel vertical drop. No curves, no flare, just gravity. You drop from the top like a brick, with zero resistance and zero entertainment. Also, if it's a lowercase I, you're not even sliding, you're just bouncing off a dot. It's basically a punishment. Number 8. Z. Z is a nightmare of geometry. It's the kind of slide designed by someone who failed architecture school but didn't give up their dream. It's just sharp edge after sharp edge. Every turn is a new opportunity for your limbs to become rearranged like IKEA furniture without the manual. By the time you've reached the bottom, you've left behind half your pants, 2 teeth, and your ability to trust. Number 7. H. Not a slide, a trap. You think, oh, 2 vertical bars with a middle piece? Must be a cool straight descent. Wrong. You slide down one side, hit the horizontal crossbar, and immediately flip into the air like a tossed pancake. Some say H stands for hospital, which is what you'll need after riding this letter slide. Number 6. M. M is a lie. At first glance, it looks like a thrill-seeker's dream. Peaks, valleys, symmetry, the visual promise of speed and bounce. But in reality, it's a slide designed by a geometry teacher with a vendetta. You drop in fast, great start, then you hit the first sharp angle, and bam, you're stopped dead. Your momentum just dies. You scoot a bit, try to wiggle, you get to the center peak, and that's it. You're stuck, forever, in the crotch of an M. No traction, no slope, just shame and friction burn. Oh, and as you might have guessed, joint 6 is W, as it's the same experience, just flipped upside down. Number 5. G. G is a trap with flair. At first, it's beautiful. This open spiral beckons you in like some elegant curved siren. And the entry? Oh, it's fun. You run off a high platform and jump in like it's a pool. And you gracefully start spiraling down the inner curve. But here's the thing, you're not getting out. There's no exit ramp, no escape hatch, no mercy. G just ends. It wraps in on itself like a smug little loop and stops. The only way out is to jump up and over the side, which, unless you've got quads forged by the gods or can jump 10 times higher than LeBron, it's not happening. Number 4. Q. Q is basically what happens when you give O a bad attitude and side hustle. At first glance, it's a nice enclosed loop. You're thinking, just a chubby O, I'm ready for a gentle drop off. Wrong. You don't slide off gracefully, you fall straight off the top like a dropped Amazon package. No countdown, no warning, just whoosh and you're airborne. And where do you land? On the little tail ramp, sticking out like some chaotic conveyor belt. It catches you mid-fall, whips your body sideways and flings you down at maximum speed. Number 3. J. J is the cowboy boot of slides. You climb up the side, drop like a rock, and then wham, you curve into a glorious arc that shoots you forward like a carnival ride gone rogue. It's not elegant, and it's definitely not safe, but it is stupid amounts of fun. Perfect for adrenaline junkies, clowns, and people who have accepted their fate. Number 2. U. A smooth, sensual bowl of velocity. U doesn't hurt you. U cares for you. You drop in gently, gain speed through the curved base, and coast out the other side like a majestic tube otter. It's the kind of slide you take your grandma on, and she'd love it. She'd also probably get stuck halfway through, but that's a separate issue. Number 1. C. The gold standard. Simple, elegant, perfect. Assuming you can rotate it 90 degrees to the left, you drop in at the top, coast smoothly along the curve, and rest gracefully in the middle with your dignity intact, at least more intact than usual. There's no sharp turn, no surprise ramp, just you, gravity, and the loving caress of the alphabet's most honourable curve. Bonus, flip it backwards and you've got yourself a second ride. C is for clean, C is for chic, C is for certified slide lord. L is what happens when a building gives up halfway through construction. It's got a single narrow floor and an unreasonably high wall for no particular reason. No ceiling either, just the open sky and the lingering feeling you should have picked a different letter to use as your home. Technically livable, but only if your ideal house resembles the corner of a sad Tetris game and you're willing to ignore basic weather conditions. Number 9. Oh, the circular panic room no one asked for. If you simply slam it underground, not only do you get a bunker that doubles as an echo chamber, but there's no flat surface inside, so good luck placing any furniture that doesn't slowly slide towards the centre, or the chance of putting your lemonade down without it spilling all over the floor. Or walls, or ceiling, since there's no corners, is all technically the same thing, and there is zero escape from your own voice bouncing back at you. Not ideal, but at least you'll never stub your toe on a corner again. Number 8. H. Finally, something that somewhat resembles a house. 2 stories and 2 walls. Great for siblings who want to live together but never see each other. The top floor, tragically, lacks a roof, so you get sun exposure and rainfall in equal measure. You could almost call it a skylight. Still, not the worst option for families who like open plan weather exposure, and this one has potential, assuming you own a tarp. Number 7. T. Or, as city councils call it, a bus stop that legally counts as a shelter. 1 vertical support beam, 1 flat roof you can't reach, and absolutely nothing else. No walls and no floor. You're sleeping with the worms on bare soil tonight. I wouldn't actually call this one a house. I'd say it's actually a mild suggestion of shade. You can kinda survive just until the wind picks up. Number 6. M. The letter that said, what if a tent had ambitions? It's basically 2 triangle rooms joined by a suspicious central slope that's either a hallway or a slide to your death. It does feel outdoorsy, at least, if you're into that kind of thing. There's decent symmetry, and everyone is sheltered from the elements from all angles. You might have to supply your own floor, though. Number 5. A. The official letter of architectural students who camp. Yeah, I'm seeing a running theme here. It's your classic A-frame cabin, but committed to the bit. There are 2 floors, each tucked neatly into the slanted sides. So on the bottom floor, you do get a proper sense of space. The top floor, yeah, not so much. And don't forget, everything inside is at an angle, including your sense of balance. It's good for mountain people, or architects, or anyone who wants to live inside a warning sign. Number 4. P, also known as the perfect treehouse. If you happen to live next to a tree, the round part makes for a roomy little nook, while the vertical line acts as a built-in ladder. It's fun and elevated, and really makes you feel like a kid again. If you squint, it kind of looks like someone tried to build a hobbit house 2 meters off the ground. I'll admit, it is small, but it has character. Oh yeah, it also has no toilet. But again, who cares? It's a treehouse. Number 3. U. U is number 3 on this list because imagine you buy this insanely luxury villa, but the house still hasn't been built by the time you move in, so you end up with this super deep swimming pool. There's literally nothing else other than a sweet taste of chlorine up your nose as you perform your biggest cannonball yet. Think of it less like a home and more like a spa resort for one deeply confused person. Number 2. B. If you're someone who's into glamping, then B is the letter for you. It doubles as a friendship retreat. 2 circular rooms stacked on top of one another like bunk beds. You and your best friend each get a bubble with a curved glass wall. A view with some privacy. Yeah, the interior might not be the biggest, but hey, at least both of you get to enjoy the luxury of having functional doors, walls, and a roof each. Number 1. E. This is the architectural gold standard of the alphabet. You get 3 wings, 2 full doors, and the rooftop's flat, so there's potential for a garden or a later regrettable hot tub. But a friendly reminder, this house is warm weather only, unless you enjoy winter as an indoor activity. At least at the end of each horizontal line, there is a balcony to enjoy the views. You live in E like you're rich, like having a lot of room, and completely fine with the fact that your entire right side is, well, missing. Starting us off is the saggy beanbag of the alphabet, U. Now technically, you can jump on this one, but you won't so much bounce as you will sink. This is the kind of trampoline you find in someone's backyard that hasn't been touched since 2003. Springs? Non-existent. Structural tension? A myth. You jump in full of hope and immediately experience what it feels like to become a human ravioli. You go in and never come out. Number 9. M. The trampoline equivalent of we just hit the weight limit. What starts as a confident jump quickly humbles you. The middle dips instantly like it just got emotionally overwhelmed. And now you're folded into a letter that feels like it was halfway through collapsing before you even touched it. You're crumpled into the fetal position in 0.2 seconds. Basically, it's like jumping on a flimsy folding chair. Why did you even think that it was going to work in the first place? Number 8. Y. Y feels like it wants to be a trampoline, if only it had a second leg. You step on it optimistically, thinking maybe this will be fine, maybe this will work. But yeah, it doesn't, it just doesn't. Y tips over immediately like a drunk flamingo. You are still airborne, but not from a jump, just from being flung sideways into whatever furniture was nearby. Number 7. L. L is what happens when someone builds half a trampoline and says, yeah, that'll do. No bounce, no lift, just a violently lopsided launch into the abyss. If I had to put it into words, I'd say it's a human trebuchet with one setting, right. You try to bounce, but instead get yeeted sideways like you slipped on a banana peel in Mario Kart. Good for chaos, terrible for actual trampoline use. Number 6. X. X makes you feel like you've entered a gravity chamber of a forgotten sci-fi film. Every direction is bounceable. All 4 jump pads send you out like you're trying to break free of the alphabet entirely. You and your friends fly north, south, east and west. It's a letter that doesn't believe in gravity, consequences, or comments that critique the logic in these videos. Number 5. B. B gets points for creativity. Rotate it 90 degrees left and you've essentially built a backyard extreme sport. Blobbing. You jump on the big arch, your friend lies on the little one, and physics handles the rest. You get cushioned lightly down, whilst your friend gets launched up at terminal velocity, probably over a fence, into a tree, or straight into a lawsuit. Only reason it's at number 5 and not 1 is because a blob isn't technically a trampoline. It's more of a water sport, lakeside activity kind of thing. Thinking about it, how did it even get in here? Number 4. A. A is for almost a good trampoline. That crossbeam in the middle is your launch pad. Unfortunately, it's right next to the ceiling. You get maybe half a jump before your head bonks the roof like you're in a cartoon. Barely enough room for one person and no room for error. And let's be honest, you don't bounce high, so you're not having any fun. You just sort of bob up and down gently and complain about the space, or lack of. Still, good structural integrity. Feels like it was designed by someone who heard what trampolines might be once in passing. Number 3. D. Oh yes, we had to put this one in here. It's the big D. No, stop laughing. That's not what I meant. Grow up. This one? Massive spring and a flat bottom so it stays put whilst you bounce up until your heart's content. If you bounce on this, you're not coming down for a while. Pretty sure you could reach escape velocity if you tried. Like all good trampolines though, it does come with a few safety concerns. There is absolutely no net. If you bounce even a couple centimeters to the side, you are flung off and ending up with at least a broken collarbone. D. Great height, questionable safety. Absolutely S-tier spring though. Number 2. T. Now we're getting clever. T is multifunctional. It's a trampoline seesaw hybrid. You and your friend each take a side, jump alternately, and launch each other into neighbouring zip codes, until someone mistimes their jump and impales their own knees through their chin. There's elegance in its simplicity. Bounce power is moderate, but the fun factor is high, especially if your friendship can survive accidental concussions. Also, before we get to mystery number 1, we have an honourable mention. You can rotate the letter I sideways and you've got yourself a mini fitness trampoline. This one is especially great if you're a middle-aged mum trying to find the goofiest way of working out. Number 1. H. The king of letter trampolines. Perfect symmetry, balanced springs, and even a horizontal bar at the perfect tension. You jump and it actually feels like a trampoline. It really brings out the inner kid in you. You can get solid vertical height, it's got nets to protect you getting flung off sideways, and it holds firm even after doing your biggest cannonball. A is easily the worst excuse for a chair ever conceived. Need I explain what happens when you place your rear end on a sharp object that slowly expands outwards? I don't think either of us want to see that animated. This isn't Saw 3. So instead, let's pretend this chair is the worst on this list because of the inconvenience of sliding off either side if you become unbalanced. Yeah, that's a lot more pleasant than the alternative. Number 9. Z. The letter Z comes in looking a little more promising, but the moment you actually sit on it, you realise it's essentially a ridiculously elevated stool. The seat sits way too high, and now you can't actually reach the plate of tendies going cold several feet below you. At least swinging your legs is fun. Yeah, until you realise you're one hip movement away from toppling off and performing a perfect elbow drop right through the table. Number 8. V. The V-chair is great if your dream seating experience involves becoming a compact, folded-up version of yourself. Put it this way, your ankles were never meant to meet your sternum, but now they have, and they're in a loving relationship, permanently. So yeah, being suddenly moulded into an unintentional yoga pose invented by an evil chiropractor, not the selling point most chairs go with. Number 7. Y. Think of Y as V's slightly more forgiving cousin. It's not as deep, so your legs can actually leave the premises. They get to hang out in the real world instead of being jammed into triangular captivity. The problem is the entire structure is balanced on just one leg, like a flamingo, except this flamingo happens to have an inner ear infection and can't balance to save its life. You lean even slightly to the side and this thing's gonna tip over and fracture your skull in several places. Number 6. E. Now we're getting somewhere. Ever looked at a boring old chair or bench and thought, man, I wish instead of sitting next to me, the other person could sit above me? Yeah, me neither, but go with me on this one. The letter E has 3 horizontal platforms, 1 vertical spine. This is basically a bunk bed, but for chairs. You can sit on the top for a panoramic view of your room, or sit on the bottom for a more grounded experience. And if your friend wants to join, perfect. The downside? Sitting on this shelf means your friend is now directly above you. And if they fall, which your clumsy friend always does, chances are you're getting dragged down with them. I'm noticing there's a lot of falling in this video. I like it. Number 5. G. G tries its best. It really does. It offers that nice curved shape. Nice to look at. Unfortunately, aesthetics don't always equal comfort. If you lean back, you immediately make physical contact with that little protruding spike at the top. I mean, it's not going to stab you too hard or anything like that, but it's definitely going to make those 10-hour gaming sessions the most excruciating experience of your life. Posture assisting chairs fear this letter, as do I say whilst slouched over at a 90-degree angle. Number 4. O. O is, let's be honest, it's not really a chair, is it? It's more of an inflatable fitness ball. Sitting on this thing means bouncing around your room like a toddler hopped up on Capri Suns. It's fun, meaning you will absolutely not be productive. The real issue is mealtime. One bounce too strong and your spaghetti becomes abstract ceiling art. I guess I really am the Picasso of my generation. Number 3. C. The letter C is basically the luxury tier of alphabet seating. This is the egg chair, rounded and airy, suspended from above like you're some enlightened garden ornament. It cradles you and sways gently. It whispers, "You're not doing any chores today." You really will sit in C for long enough, and there's a real chance you'll start narrating your own life in a soft, soothing documentary voiceover. The alphabet is rarely this kind, so appreciate it. Number 2. L. If you were to design a chair from scratch without knowing what a chair actually is, you'd probably create the letter L. It's the prototype, the blueprint, the default setting of chairs. A clean 90-degree angle, a flat seat, and a vertical backrest. No fuss really, simple as. The only issue is the lack of legs. You just sort of sit directly on the ground with the world's most perfectly shaped support behind you. You'll look like someone who forgot to assemble the rest of the furniture. Honestly, kinda wasted potential here. Exactly like myself. Ah, classic. Can't go one video without a self-deprecation joke. I wish it was a joke. Number 1. J. And at the top spot we have the letter J, the undisputed champion of alphabet seating. Everything about it screams comfort. That graceful curve holds you like it was designed by someone who actually cared about your lower back. And it's got that natural lounge chair recline built in, letting you sink in without folding you in half like some of the other letters. It's even got a little roof. Unexpected rain? Covered. Sun too bright? Also covered. All the accessories of a chair you didn't know existed and definitely don't actually need. If you're already thinking that the infinity symbol is number 1, you're wrong. It's actually 10. You get on, but you never get off. Sure, it starts off fun. You're gliding around that smooth, hypnotic curve, giggling like a GigaChad slide enjoyer. But then you realize the ride doesn't actually end. You're stuck in the loop. Your legs are cramping. You're hallucinating. You see yourself on the opposite side of the slide, also screaming. You're both you. You're both dying. Yeah, next. Number 9. Hashtag. The hashtag slide is pain with a grid overlay. There are just too many angles, too many possibilities, and every one of them ends with a fractured pelvis. You either grind your way down a crossbeam like a cheese grater, or get wedged between rails and die like a Twitter trend, quickly and without dignity. Number 8. $sign. The dollar slide is deceptive. That sleek curve tricks you into thinking you're in for a smooth ride until you hit that vertical pole jammed right through the middle. It's like someone tried to combine a roller coaster with a sword. The S-curve alone could separate you from your soul, and when you hit that middle, you get divided faster than a Minecraft server the second PvP is enabled. Would not recommend this one if you like your body being in one piece. Number 7. Question mark. This slide doesn't kill you physically, it kills your confidence. It teases you with a beautiful hook, then suddenly drops you into a spiral of confusion, panic, and philosophical dread. The dot at the bottom is either a cushion or a grenade. You won't know until you're airborne and you smack into it at 100 miles an hour. Number 6. Exclamation mark. This one's for adrenaline junkies. Straight down, zero forgiveness. It's less of a slide and more of a dive bomb. You don't ride it, you fall down it screaming. By the time you hit the bottom, your legs are somewhere in Nebraska and your spine has legally divorced you. And just like the question mark, that dot at the bottom, it's not to break your fall, it's a crater mark. Number 5. $sign. This one has a hidden bonus. Firstly, it's got 2 clean, parallel bars, no loops, no chaos, just pure side-by-side symmetry. And here's the magic. You can co-op mode. Grab your friend, your cousin, or some guy you just met in the line and race them to the other side. 1 bar for each of you. Equal footing, equal velocity, equal risk of cracking your skulls on impact. There's a competitive elegance to this slide. It's like the Olympics. If the Olympics ended with both contestants breaking their necks and giving each other the thumbs up from hospital beds. Number 4. Section symbol. 2 elegant loops stacked on top of each other like someone wrapped a racetrack around a DNA strand. It's smooth, it's classy, and it even teaches you Latin legal jargon mid-ride. Because if you didn't know that this was a section symbol, don't worry, you're not alone, neither did I until now. But anyway, you slide down the first spiral like a swan and transition into the second like a god. This one makes the dollar symbol ride look like trash. In fact, I want my money back. Number 3. Ampersand. This slide was never tested. It just escaped the lab. You start the ride in one direction and end up spinning backward into another dimension. It's a triangle of loops, bridges, and mental breakdowns. It shouldn't work, but it does. It works so hard, it forgets it's a symbol. If a slide and a pretzel had a baby, this would be the result. Number 2. @ symbol. The @ symbol places pretty highly, but only if you use it correctly. See, there's a right and wrong here. The wrong way to do it would be to slide off the absolute top of this thing. Either way off and you're just falling into the abyss. Not to mention, if you pick the side on the right, there's a small chance you'll hit the bottom of that little flick that's sticking out, which I imagine will then be sticking out of you. The best way to approach this would be to find a way onto that lowercase a in the middle. Now we're cooking. But hold on, no, don't go that way, because if you do, you'll be trapped in a very uncomfortable pit. Instead, take the route on the left and boom, you've just jumped into an inverted drop slide. It gracefully carries you around and then gently shoots you out the exit. That is, if it's not piled up with bodies from idiots jumping off the top. Number 1. Pie. 2 clean vertical legs connected by a crossbar at the top. That's 2 big drop-ins letting you pick your poison. You can jump off the left side, which is essentially just a plummet into pain, not recommended, or be a big brain and take the slingshot on the right. You drop in from the top to a near vertical descent, and just as you reach terminal velocity, you are yeeted off to the side like a cannonball. Just hope there's at least a pool or ball pit to catch you. Yeah, the alphabet's got 2 cases, but I feel like it's missing a third. Let's fix that. A. I look at these 2 as classic as bread and butter. Yeah, I don't like it. I'm going to start by making it taller to assert dominance over the other 2 A's. I'm also going to give it a round top. That's the thing with the other 2 A's. One's round and the other's pointy. What about if I give it a straight line in the middle too? Boom, we've got some 90-degree angles. This highest case A is giving us the best of both worlds. It's smooth and pointed. B is where my monkey brains say uppercase has 2 circles. Since this is the 3rd letter case, let's just add a 3rd circle. That's our highest case B. Hey, I didn't say this channel is based on the most profound letter creation techniques. I'm just here to break the rules, or create new ones, I suppose. C. Okay, C. Oh, I know, let's make it slightly bigger and add 2 flat lines. You probably think that's pretty dull, huh? Yeah, that's because I didn't tell you those 2 lines are actually portals. Jump into the bottom one and you're soft-locked in a perpetual portal fall. Just the kind of antics I expect from highest case letters, truthfully. D. This is what I came up with for D. Stop laughing. Yeah, I just flipped the uppercase D backwards. I know, it looks kind of weird, like something gross you don't really want to think about. I'm sorry. Okay, for E, they were already pretty extreme with their first upgrade of the letter. I mean, look at that. They don't even look remotely close. They're more like 3rd cousins. Anyway, I'm thinking let's make it taller and also reintroduce the loop. Why did they even take that out in the first place? This version looks a lot more fun, more like a roller coaster, I'd say, because that's definitely the point of an alphabet. F. What starts with F? Force? Funny? Flail? Okay, flail. Yeah, let's go with that. Let's add another arm and also bend them a bit, so now it looks like the letter acts like words it can be used to make. Just a funny big F flailing about. G. Okay, whoever made this set of letters was definitely on some sort of hallucinogen. Yeah, let's stick with that vibe. Just add a bunch of squiggles around here. Now, to be fair, there is method to this typography madness. But you ever notice how G kind of sounds like a J sound? J, G, J, G, J. Yeah, not really. But if you pretend it does, you've now got a cool lowercase J in there if you look very closely. See there right in the middle? So now you can write this new version of the letter G and also have the phonetic sound of the J. Sometimes my genius is frightening. H. Okay, this is an interesting one. They kind of just gave the lowercase h another wall and called it a day. Which is exactly what I'm going to do. I practically turned it into a ladder, which, hold on, is intentional because that's what you need to reach the highest case. Consider your mind blown. I. What does I represent? Well, that's easy. Me. I as in I am making a stupid video about letters. I as in what am I doing with my life? What were we talking about again? Oh yeah, so I added an arm reaching out and waving because it's me waving my dreams goodbye. Let's move on. They really did the uppercase J dirty. Why did they get rid of that glorious dot? Hold on, we gotta make this right. There we go. Reincarnated with the inspiration of its former glory. I felt like adding back just the one dot wouldn't have been fulfilling enough, so I went ahead and added 3. Like I've got dots to spare in this economy. K. Okay, what the heck have I created? I don't even know where to start with this one. It's kind of like I threw the letter into a radioactive sludge and all the extra limbs are a result of that. I think we should change the spelling of circus to this, because that's definitely where this monstrosity belongs. L is for lazy, which is what the original creators of the English lexicon apparently were. They straight have just added another line. And you know me, I believe in taking inspiration from my language creators before me, which is why, yeah, you already know we're just adding another line. You must be so mad right now. So for M, I'm thinking meow. Let's give this fella some raised cat ears and call it a day. I actually kind of like this one. Quite wholesome, quite cute. And by the way, the cat face isn't actually part of this typography. I just imagine every time someone uses this new letter, they'd find it impossible to resist doing that. N. Okay, what if I did this and then this? Yeah, okay, this one sucks. Okay, I actually have a really good idea for this one. O kind of looks like something growing, don't you think? Kind of looks like a cell. Introducing cell division to the English language. The crossover the world doesn't actually need in any discernible way. Okay, so both versions of the letter P use that line on the left, but in different positions. What if we just put the line in the middle? Yeah, I'd use that in a sentence. Q. Oh, you guys are not ready for what I'm about to do to Q. Are you ready? Okay, here we go. Yeah, well, let's see you do better. R is the penthouse of letters. Let's do this right. Okay, so basically I'm just going to improve on the uppercase letter a bit and voila. Look at that rooftop penthouse with a balcony. I mean, this is probably useless as a letter, but who says a guy can't dream a little bit? S. S stands for... Oh no, don't say it. Come on, you're better than that. Look at how lazy they were with the uppercase. They literally just made it bigger. I haven't seen anything this lazy since... Well, me, because I'm going to do the exact same thing. Look at all those curves. Wow, I'm a modern day Da Vinci. To be fair, imagine sliding down this thing. Would make for a pretty awesome ride photo to get scammed $20 for. Okay, you can clearly see my creativity ran out about 10 letters ago, but this T, it's the best I could think of. U, we gotta do better. Let's actually put effort into this one. Okay, so I noticed that both of these letters are pretty round and neglect that typical angular upgrade that the previous uppercase letters seem to have. So for the highest case, let's make that base completely square. Total 90-degree angles up in here. Then I'm going to copy that, shrink it, flip it upside down, and put it in the middle. Yeah, okay, now this is modern art. Highest case V, we're going to turn it into a diamond. And that is because I said so. And speaking of these, everyone's favorite letter is the double V. No, wait, it's obviously double U. Honestly, I mean, who even came up with the name for that? It looks nothing like a U. So yeah, we made it into an actual W. Yeah, that's it. You're welcome. X. Let's think outside the box. In fact, nah, screw that. Let's think inside. X in a box. X is now in a box. I mean, think about it. How often do you actually use the letter X in a sentence anyway? Now, think about when you're filling out a questionnaire. What letter or shape would you use to fill in the blank white square there? Boom, we already did it for you. You can thank me later. Why? Why are we here? Why do we ask questions? Why is literally pronounced why, which is why I turned it into a question mark. And my rules dictate that you can go ahead and use this letter in place of the actual word why. Take that word out of the dictionary, won't be needing that anymore. And finally, Z. Clearly, when they got to the end of the original alphabet, they just couldn't be bothered at all and wanted to clock off at 5 PM no matter what, so they just made the letter slightly bigger. And since I also want to leave and go stuff my face with a Burger King, I'm going to do the exact same thing, except I'm also going to add some extra lines to it. So yeah, subscribe now. I mean, how could you not want more of this? The $sign is a terrible place to live. There's no floor plan, literally. You're basically hanging from a vertical line surrounded by 2 unstable curves. Minimal walls, no ceiling, no privacy, just pure capitalist exposure. Every gust of wind is an eviction notice. And every night you fall asleep wondering which part of you is meant to rest on the S. And side note, it's in central New York, so rent here is $4,000 a month. Hand it over. Number 9, $sign. This is a minimalist dream home until you realise it's just 4 metal beams. There's no shelter, no floor, and you can see everything from every direction, which sounds nice until a storm rolls in sideways. The rent's cheap because you have to bring your own walls, and it's the only building where your neighbour is technically in every direction at once. This one's just generally bad for human existence. Number 8. Infinity. Now grab the number 8 and turn it sideways, and congratulations, you've just moved into the infinity symbol. It's basically 2 apartments fused together with 0 exit strategy. You get one hallway that loops forever, no windows, and a growing sense of regret that doesn't end. It's symmetrical, sure, but that means you can never tell which half you're living in. You wake up, walk around, and end up back where you started, eternally late for work in your own home. Number 7. Omega. The Omega symbol looks like it'd be cozy. Yeah, why don't you just take a look down? The lousy builders forgot to include any floorboards in this one. It's just a dirt dome with no insulation. It's half home, half ancient ruin. The floor is whatever soil you find, and the curved roof makes every noise echo. Imagine watching The Big Bang Theory in here and hearing Bazinga reverbed back at you 8 times. On the bright side, excellent airflow. On the dim side, that's just poor insulation. Number 6. Lambda. Lambda is the TP of the symbol world. Pointy, compact, and not bad for a weekend getaway. It's the perfect structure for anyone who likes sleeping close to Greek geometry. Just don't expect amenities. Like any camping experience, the shower is somewhere else, and it's also communal. And there are several spiders in there waiting for you. It's charming in a temporary way. Ideal for a festival, terrible for winter. Number 5. @ symbol. Now this one's got character. Get it? Character? Because it's a character? Yeah, I give up. The @ symbol is basically a snail shell designed by a tech startup. You crawl through the narrow spiral entrance, and suddenly you're surrounded by a circular wall that somehow manages to feel both safe and claustrophobic at the same time. Temperature control is excellent, however. It's like living in a constant lukewarm hug, but you can't walk in a straight line without scraping a wall. It's cozy until you realize every visitor has to crawl to get in. Bonus feature, the big curving wall acts as a slide exit that flings you out, so at least you'll never be late for work. Number 4. Hashtag. Welcome to the hashtag house. Technically a 9-room grid, but only the middle one actually counts as habitable. You've got 1 floor, 2 walls, and a roof if you're lucky. Everything else is just scaffolding pretending to be architecture, and if you live in any one of these other rooms, yeah, unlucky. Number 3. Pi. Pi is simple, it's rustic, it's honest. In fact, now that I think about it, it's the shed of symbols. 2 beams, 1 roof, nothing more, nothing less. You get shade and stability, and also a faint smell of simplicity. There's something endearing about its blunt refusal to be more than a fraction of a home. It doesn't need multiple stories or pretentious curves, it just says, here's a roof, you're welcome. Number 2. Pound sign. Ah, the pound sign, finally, a bit of class. A tall, elegant 2-story home with a swooping roof and a built-in balcony for shouting at peasants or pigeons. The design is pure aristocracy, curves that serve no purpose except to remind you you live in a pound and you're better than everyone else. The only issue is the ground floor. It slopes like a melting croissant, so furniture placement becomes a bit tricky. Still, this is the closest thing to luxury living the keyboard offers. And before number 1, we've got honourable mention, and it's the house symbol. And you're probably thinking, well, this should be number 1. But no, it's cheating. Really, I mean, it's a literal house symbol. There's no imagination here. It's a triangle on a square pretending to be something profound. It's the IKEA house of symbols. It's comfort without character, which, to be fair, is probably what most people want. Number 1. Symbol. Now this is living. The is full of architectural experience. A double-winged villa with balconies and enough flair to make a Roman emperor blush. You can host guests, throw echoey parties, and still find a private corner for existential reflection. It's half fortress, half fantasy resort, and entirely impractical in the best way. The isn't just a symbol, it's a full-on statement. Arabic is one of the most beautiful scripts in the world, but if you're looking for slide ability, it's also weaponized calligraphy. Ra is a short, elegant swoop. Looks cute, starts smooth. You sit down thinking this will be a gentle ride. Then halfway down you realize you've just entered a curvature death spiral. No rails, no ending platform. Just a slow, stylish slide straight into oblivion. This one takes the number 10 spot because you don't exit this slide, you gracefully perish. Number 9. Korean. Iung is technically a placeholder letter, perfectly smooth and completely hollow inside, just like me during finals week. At first glance, it seems safe. Too safe. But the problem is, you can't stop. Once you enter the circle, it's a never-ending hamster wheel of sliding purgatory. Fun for 5 seconds, existential after 10. Bonus points, if you fall off, you'll do so elegantly. Number 8. Hebrew. Shin looks like a slide designed by a group of tired architects and mildly vengeful rabbis. You've got a triple prong entry, each with its own sharp incline. The first one is just a drop which guarantees you with broken legs. The second one will smash you into a wall and turn you into a popped balloon. But go down the biggest prong and you'll be met with a super sharp 90-degree corner. All momentum stops at once. Bones broken, brain smushed. It's not fun. It's a holy gauntlet. You might learn something, but you'll pay for it in teeth. Number 7. Hindi. The Hindi script is packed with amazing shapes, but OO is built like a roller coaster that got bored halfway through construction. So let's rotate it 90 degrees to the right. You start at the top, feel the curve, and then think you've made it. But then you hit the bottom spike, a little flick that launched more children into orbit than NASA. It's not just a slide, it's a revenge trap for anyone who failed Sanskrit in school. Number 6. Greek. You already know, the big boss of Greek, the final form, the Omega. Assuming you flip it upside down, this is a god-tier slide. You carefully climb down from the top platform and let go to experience the wide, looping sides with a deep, satisfying curve. It holds you just enough to feel safe, before launching you through the bottom like a mythological cannonball. Slide too fast, and you'll exit the ride on fire and speaking in riddles. Worth it. Number 5. Russian. Air is what happens when the Latin E goes to military school and comes back emotionally unavailable. If you're feeling nervous, you can simply start from the middle platform and make your way down the curve, gently stopping at the end, just like a slide should. But if you're a bit more of an adrenaline junkie, you go all the way to the top. The near vertical drop accelerates you insanely fast, and before you know it, you're exiting sideways from the second curve, shooting out like a missile. No brakes, no goodbye. It's a thrill ride designed by someone who wanted you to have fun, but only in the most traumatic way possible. Number 4. Thai. Once again, this one works better flipped. Imagine a slide that wraps around you like a sugar-coated pretzel, but then immediately reminds you it was never meant for your safety. Pa has a curve into a corner, and the other side isn't any better. It might look okay at first, but you get ejected into the side of the initial curve. You're not sliding, you're being processed like linguistics-flavoured spaghetti, but if you survive it, you're reborn. Probably shorter, definitely cooler. Number 3. Latin. Old Faithful, the classic, the Mario Kart letter of slides. S starts smooth, winds down into a satisfying curve, and throws you side to side like it's trying to shake the coins out of your pockets. It's not the fastest, not the deadliest, but it's the most iconic. It's fun, it's balanced, you might get a bruise or two, but you'll walk away and say, let's do that again. This is your main menu slide. Mid-tier danger, max-tier fun. Number 2. Georgian. Georgian script is already criminally underrated, and all looks like the deluxe donut slide of dreams. It's a full, wide-open oval with a clean entrance and a long, looping curve that makes you feel like a marble rolling through a gourmet dessert. There's no risk of death here, which, as it goes, is pretty good for a slide, just pure centrifugal joy. If other slides leave you broken, this one tucks you in and reads you a nice bedtime story, and it even includes a tiny bonus slide on the tail. Extra safe, you can bring your kids here. Number 1. Japanese. It's 3 glorious diagonal lines. Each one is steep, each one is deadly, as they all lead to the same place, a high-speed track straight into the afterlife. You choose a final form. Slide 1 for style, slide 2 for speed, slide 3 if you want the job over and done with in the fastest way possible. No games. It's sharp, it's elegant, it's anime as hell. Gold medal, dismemberment potential, 10 out of 10, and bonus points for looking like a smiley face. Number 1 is certainly not number 1 when it comes to living in numbers. I mean, it offers the bare essentials, mainly because it is the bare essentials. You get one wall. So yeah, when a storm rolls around, safe to say you're not staying dry. On the bright side, it's easy to clean. On the realism side of things though, you're seething and coping because you didn't spend more money on a better number house in this list. Number 9. 7. The number 7 is what happens when you hire an architect who clearly lied about their credentials. The lean on this place is so dramatic it makes the Leaning Tower of Pisa look like, well, a normal Tower of Pisa. Every time there's a gust of wind, the whole structure just gives up and collapses like it's made of cheap knockoff building materials. All in all, living here is going to be very short-lived, and no home insurance agency will cover what's inevitably going to happen within 5 minutes of you moving in. Number 8. 2. Number 2 is fine, just fine. In summer, that is. Yeah, when winter shows up, not so much. Congratulations, you just rented a walk-in freezer. There is absolutely zero insulation. You and cold air are now best friends. And probably frostbite. I mean, come on, you didn't need those fingers anyway, right? Number 7. 9. Okay, this one is a great idea on paper. The problem is actually getting into it. The sloping ramp looks like a fun little walkway until you actually try stepping on it and slide down like a greased bowling pin. There's no dignified way to enter this house. You can sprint, crawl, climb, swear, you'll still end up at the bottom. I feel like this is the kind of cruel joke Jigsaw would play if he was an architect. Number 6. 6. You so wanted me to say 6, 7 just then. Come on, you're better than that. But anyway, with number 6, the universe flips the script. Instead of struggling to get in, you now struggle to get out. That curving wall becomes a personal containment chamber the moment you move in. The shape funnels you in like that plant that has greasy walls and traps flies or spiders or whatever the hell it eats. Yeah, this isn't a nature documentary channel, sorry. Basically, if you've ever wanted a home that encourages you to stay inside forever, not for comfort but because the geometry is actively working against you, this is the one. Number 5. 3. The number 3 gives you that classic 2-floor arrangement. Upper living for you, and lower living for whoever was dumb enough to want to cohabit with you. See, what you didn't tell that roommate before they signed a 2-year minimum contract is that every time it rains, the basement fills with water and becomes a public pool. Wow, you really are heartless, aren't you? I respect it. I mean, hey, you can still store things down there if you're fine with them becoming aquatic versions of themselves. At least the upper floor is dry, so you can peer down at your flooded problems like a Victorian landlord. Number 4. 5. Now we're getting comfortable. The curve of the 5 cradles you like a giant numerical hammock. You've got a cozy nook at the base, perfect for reading or napping or watching pointless videos about numbers to live in. There's even a balcony at the top, ideal for sipping something fancy while watching lesser number dwellers try not to tip over in the wind. This is the first number house that intentionally feels livable, instead of whatever 1 was trying to be. Number 3. 10. Number 10 looks like an actual suburban setup. The O as the house, and the 1 as the polite little lamppost outside. It's almost disappointingly normal, which in this ranking is practically luxurious. Good structural stability, a solid enclosed space, and built-in nighttime lighting courtesy of the giant line standing guard. Let's just hope no one accidentally kicks a football into the 1, or you might wake up with your roof caved in. Number 2. 8. The number 8 is a double-decker delight. 2 neat living pods stacked vertically, like a duplex for mathematically inclined roommates. The catch, though, it's cramped. Like, very cramped. Both levels are basically those sleeping pods you see in Japanese hotels. Not great if you need personal space, or just like hearing someone breathe through walls that feel thinner than wrapping paper. Still, it's a tidy little 2-tier home. Practical, and kind of adorable. Number 1. 4. I mean, look at it. It's basically already a house. You get a proper flat foundation. The angled top forms a roof, letting rain fall off instead of randomly dumping it onto your face at 3 a.m. There's even that lower open section acting like a parking garage for that stupid loud Honda Civic you fitted with the most obnoxious exhaust. Everything about the 4 says, yeah, I've got my life together. It's the ideal balance of form and function. Finally, a number you can bring your parents to without explaining why the lounge is underwater or why the whole structure falls over when someone sneezes. I know you think dollar is number 1, right? Wrong. But at least it's not South Korean won. Shaped like a fork or a really weird Wi-Fi symbol. Either way, it's not a good slide. You drop in thinking this is going to be fun. 2 tall slides, clean start, and then it hits you. This thing has a whole vertical line in the middle. 1 is number 10 on this list because you don't slide, you collide. Your knees buckle, your body folds like a ramen lid, and you become a cautionary tale. Number 9. Indian rupee. The rupee is basically a slide designer's unfinished homework. Let's start with the entry. Oh wait, there isn't one. Instead, you're greeted with what are essentially 2 overhanging diving boards. If you can figure out a way to actually get to the slide, well done. You've just signed yourself up for a guaranteed full body cast. You start sliding, and before it's even been 2 seconds, you're ejected off the side of a skyscraper. If you want to keep your bones intact, however, try the baby slide on the other side. Looks cool on cash, slides like a broken percentage sign. Number 8. British pound. You'd expect royalty from the pound. Instead, you get a sassy, top-heavy weapon of shin destruction. The slide begins with promise. A strong vertical spine, elegant hooks, but then the curvature kicks in. And suddenly, you're getting slammed into the middle bar, falling off and breaking your neck. The shape is fancy. The ride is violent. You'll leave the slide with a British accent and a lifelong limp. Number 7. Japanese yen. This is less of a slide and more of a glorified fly trap. It's got a clean top, smooth descent, symmetrical design. It's got structure, like it's been tested in a wind tunnel. However, you slide down the long stem and get greeted by a sharp angle and no way to escape. Not only are you stuck in the middle forever, but now your shins are also next to your ears. Japan, great for making video games and cameras, not so much for slide creation. Number 6. Vietnamese dong. This is not a slide. This is a weapon disguised as a lowercase letter. For you daredevils out there, which I know you are, you choose to jump off the ledge and drop into the curved belly of the D. You're enjoying the curve as you glide round, possibly also doing a loop if you have enough speed. Only reason this isn't number 1 is because once you're in there, you can't get back out. At least you don't get hit in the dong is extreme, but also eternal imprisonment. Number 5. Euro. The Euro slide is all about balance, so let's rotate it 90 degrees to the left. Now you've got the big C curve on the outside, which gives you speed, control, and style points. But then the 2 crossbars, they exist only to end lives. You'll be halfway down the beautiful, sweeping arc, and bam, caught in the ribs and stopped like a sack of potatoes. It's like riding a roller coaster, except someone jammed 2 swords through the tracks. Stylish, yes. Stable, emotionally, no. Number 4. Turkish lira. The Turkish lira looks like a musical note that's been sharpened for combat. There's a right and wrong way to use this slide. The wrong way would be starting at the very top. You start on a steep vertical drop. Nice, fast, full send. But then you hit the 2 diagonal crossbars and they don't guide you, they shred you. Instead, try scaling your way down to the end of the horizontal bar on the right. Now, slap your goggles on as you majestically swan dive off the ledge. After a brief freefall, you're greeted by a landing ramp which hurtles your body left and impales you into a horizontal wall. Hey, I never said you survive any of these slides. Ride them at your own risk. Number 3. US dollar. This one is iconic for a reason. The S-curve gives you that classic momentum, and the vertical slash adds the thrill of imminent impalement. It's the Disneyland of currency slides, if there was a chance of dying on Thunder Mountain. Everyone's been on it, and everyone walks away slightly bruised but ready to do it again. You can ride the front curve, you can ride the back, you can go straight down the middle and pray. It's got options. It's dangerous in a familiar, nostalgic way. The dollar doesn't try to kill you, it just lets the free market do it instead. Number 2. Canadian dollar. This isn't just a slide, it's a 2-part roller coaster with passport privileges. You launch off the top C, gaining speed like a polite missile, then immediately shoot out the exit as you Tony Hawk Pro Slider your way into the transition of the S-curve of the dollar sign. It's fast, stylish, and it's built for maximum airtime. The only downside is the vertical bar through the dollar sign, which may separate you from your limbs, but just ignore that. Number 1. Bitcoin. This thing wasn't made to be a currency, it was made to be a launchpad for chaos. There are literally so many options when choosing where to slide down this thing. You could go from the top and slide down on the right, back into the B and arrive at safety, or do the same on the bottom half. And the best part? Those bars don't interrupt your slideability. They stay nicely out of the way. You don't ride the Bitcoin slide, you invest in it and hope you survive the volatility. Gold medal, max speed, and a hidden bonus, you might actually survive this one. V is the absolute worst excuse for a parachute. It's essentially a folded napkin with no structural integrity. I'll be honest, you're an idiot if you use this. You'd just be dangling off the ends like you've got something to live for. But the V has already collapsed inwards. If you enjoy the feeling of immediate regret and terminal velocity, then this is your letter. Number 9. X. Now this is your classic budget cuts model. X is the skeleton of a parachute without the parachute part. It's like bro showed up to the parachute convention wearing scaffolding. The arms are wide and the optimism is high, but he's gripping 2 ropes connected to absolutely nothing. I mean, imagine the feeling of jumping out that plane, deploying your parachute, and then looking up to just see a wireframe. I mean, you may as well do the jump whilst holding a knife and fork in each hand. That would be just as equally useless. Number 8. S. Rotate it and don't look. This is every skydiver's worst nightmare. The tangled parachute. It's that moment of oh no, right before the emergency backup also fails. Functionally, it's more decorative than practical. But hey, at least you descend in stylish spirals. I mean, you'll be screaming the entire way down, but ignore that part. Think of it as a roller coaster that just forgot the rails. Number 7. T. So this is the evolution of a bad idea. You start with T. It's basically someone trying to parachute with a patio umbrella. And the thing is, with skydiving, there's this little thing called wind resistance. And as you may have guessed, having a parachute that's shaped like it's got 2 massive arms sticking straight out with no strings attached, the thing folds in on itself pretty quickly. Congratulations, you've now got a Y. What was once mildly optimistic is now a Y-shaped existential crisis. Number 6. B. We're bending the rules a little here, something you guys are used to by now, so strap that beat to your back and you've got yourself a Minecraft Elytra. It glides, it curves, and it wraps around your torso like it knows you personally. You won't float so much as cruise to the ground. Not traditional, but you'll make it. Probably cooler than you deserve to look while falling. And it would be higher in this list, except, like I said, technically it's not a parachute. Number 5. H. Again, not a parachute, but a ladder. A very tall, very stacked ladder. Just climb high enough and soon you'll be skydiving. With parachutes, sometimes it's not all about the descent. Sometimes it's about the absurdity of the setup. Oh yeah, and bonus points if you can climb high enough to warn the T-parachute guy before he jumps that he's about to become a pavement pancake. Number 4. O. Perfectly round, symmetrical, but absolutely useless at catching air. This is the kind of parachute you hand to someone you don't like very much. It does slow you down, however, kind of like a balloon that's giving up. You won't stop, but you'll die slightly slower, which is something. But hey, it's the most honest parachute on this list. No surprises, just disappointment. Number 3. M. Now this is a design. 2 besties, 1 M. This one's not just a parachute, it's a bonding exercise. Ideal for skydiving with your best friend, your therapist, or the guy you just met but agreed to trust with your life. I mean, imagine all the beautiful scenery you guys are going to see together whilst floating on this thing. Oh hey look, there's the Eiffel Tower and a Statue of Liberty. Oh wait, okay, we must be in Las Vegas. There's structural redundancy, emotional support, and at least one person to blame when things go wrong. Honestly, pretty solid. Number 2. A. A comes with built-in support beams, which already makes it feel like it was designed by someone who at least passed an engineering class. It's rigid, aerodynamic, and looks suspiciously like the kind of prototype you'd see in an old black and white photo captioned "First and Last Test Flight." However, the A isn't about floating gracefully. It's more about slicing through the sky like an aggressive paper aeroplane. The air doesn't so much catch it as it tolerates it. It feels fast, and that's because it is. So there's a good chance it'll deposit you neatly into the Earth's surface like a well-aimed dart. But at least you'll arrive with the kind of sleek, streamlined aesthetic that only the letter A can give you. Number 1. U. Now this is a parachute. Flip it upside down and it's clean, simple, comfortably saggy. It cups the air like a letter that actually wants you to survive. And you feel strangely safe despite the fact that you're being held up by the alphabet. Having 2 cases is fine, but I feel like it's missing a lowest case. I got an idea. A, one of the few letters in the alphabet that's a word on its own, thinks it's so much better than everyone else. I don't like it. I hate it so much, I'm gonna squish it inwards. It deserves to be punished for its self-perceived superiority. Also, this new lowest case A cannot be used as a word by itself. It has to be used with other letters in words. No more independence from you. Okay, now that we nerfed A, I'm thinking uppercase B has 3 lines, lowercase b has 2 lines, therefore, lowest case B equals 1 line. It's not a backwards C, it's a completely new letter. Speaking of C, I think I was on another planet when I came up with this design. Okay, so here's my logic on this one. The lowest case C is so jealous of the higher cases, it sprouts an arm to reach around them, so now it has to be included in words that use a double C. So instead of writing accident like this, it now looks like this. Yeah, this whole video is an accident. I always felt like the letter D, especially the lowercase, was always one small serif away from toppling over. So let's remove that little stump that's keeping me equilibrium, and oop, yeah, that's exactly what I thought was going to happen. But hey, it works as a lowest case, right? Okay, the letter E. I know, the capital E kind of looks like it shrivels down and turns into the lowercase e. So what if we keep going with that logic and the lowest case E is just going to look like it suddenly got really cold outside? Kind of embarrassing, but hey, at least it looks cute. F. Okay, let's get creative. Ever played that old game on paper, Hangman? No, of course you haven't. You'd rather watch dumb videos about letters that don't exist. But pretend you have played Hangman. What shape do you draw when you get 3 incorrect guesses? You get this shape. Coincidentally, if you move the line of the lowercase f down, you get that shape too. Oh, spooky. The universe is all connected. It's all connected, guys, trust me. And this is the best proof you'll get. Okay, so lowercase g is basically the capital G, but closed off and turned upside down. So after performing insane amounts of pure maths, I'm happy to present the lowest case G. Yeah, it basically got flipped around again and now just looks like a number 6. But if you combine that with lowercase g, you get 6G. And this is what your face looks like at 6Gs. Oh my god, the amount of line connecting I'm doing to make these letters make sense. I genuinely feel like I'm becoming that Charlie Day meme. For H, I went ahead and flipped the arc upside down, so now it's on the base. I also added 2 little serifs to keep it from being just completely round at the bottom. We saw what happened to D. We don't want that happening again, especially since the lowest case H looks like it would make a pretty relaxing bathtub. You guys continue without me. I might just chill in here for a while. Okay, fine, we'll carry on. I is an unconventional letter, as it's one of the only 2 letters to use a dot in its design, which makes me think, why aren't there more dots in the alphabet? Which is why I created this 3-dotted lowercase I. Get those dots up there, those are rookie numbers. And J, being the second letter to have a dot, it only makes sense. Okay, yes, it's all dots now. Now imagine writing the word jujitsu, but with the lowest case I's and J's. It's basically Morse code at this point. For K, we have to look at how the 2 original cases developed. It looks like the branches on the right move around and extend as it goes into the upper case. So for the lowest case, logically, the legs would descend to form a perfectly shaped chair. It's not a lowercase h. Why would you even suggest that? L, it's gonna be tricky. I mean, look at the lowercase, it's literally just a line. How do you reduce that further? Easy, you don't. You just bend it into a 90-degree angle. M, so imagine you're saying the letter M, but each time you get bored, so at the end you just end up barely humming the sound. Yeah, like that. Yeah, that's what the lowest case M is written like, just that unenthusiastic energy in a letter. Also, bonus fact, it kinda now looks like the tilde character. N. Okay, if I shrink the arch part of the lowercase and then give it a head and arm, looking at this side on, this is low-key the pose I hit when I'm 7 tequila shots deep and I go non-verbal at the function. I'm gonna need a minute, guys, and you might want to stand at least 3 feet back from me. There's a strong chance those shots aren't staying down. So when they made the original O, they look like they expanded it a bit. Let's take this the opposite way. Hey, welcome to the Alphabet Hydraulic Press channel. Today we're taking the letter O and seeing what happens when we apply 40 metric tons of pressure. Guess that answers that question. Guess all we really have left of the lowest case is this pile of dust. Can't really use that in a sentence. P, right, okay, a lot of you pointed out in the highest case video that when I made the highest case P, it was already a symbol or something, and I'm sorry, alright? Like I said, making this video was probably a mistake, but this is what I think about at 3 AM instead of sleeping. Anyway, we're gonna take inspiration from that highest case version, but instead of just putting the loop at the middle height, I'm also gonna center align that. There we go. Yeah, I bet that's already an existing symbol too, huh? So, time for a spelling test. How would you write the word cute? Okay, nice. If you said Q-U-T-E, you are correct. Oh, wait, what? Oh, okay. Ladies and gentlemen, I have just been informed that is indeed not how you spell cute, but it's too late and I already drew the new lowest case Q. And it doesn't even matter because when do you physically ever use Q when writing anyways? And it's a cute smiley face. How can you hate that? The letter R always made me feel sad, specifically the lowercase. It looks so much like a fishing rod. So to fulfill my dreams of seeing this lowly fisherman take home something to his alphabet wife and kids, I'm making the lowest case have a fish on the end of that line. Yeah, that dot is meant to be a fish. Best I can do. For S, I came up with this, but it has a sense of familiarity. Can't help but feel like I've seen this somewhere before. Nope. Can't quite put my finger on it and guess it works. T forgot to tighten his belt and his pants just dropped to his ankles. Look at this degenerate walking around in the nude. Don't look, lowest case B. It'll scar you for life. Okay, so uppercase U is a big cauldron. Lowercase is more of a KFC bargain bucket used for containing my 20 drumsticks, which will put me into a food coma. And with that culinary theme in mind, I think we're going to make the lowest case U a plate to eat my gluttonous diet off of. Hey, I never claim to be a health guru. I get my nutrition advice from the Colonel himself. V, I'm thinking, what if we twist it up a bit like this? Now it looks like a sweet iced out necklace with a big jewel in it. Just don't get the ice detector out. They're real diamonds, you can trust me. W, okay, nice and quick. Step 1, grab lowest case M. Step 2, flip it upside down. Step 3, enjoy staring at your new lowest case W. I must say, I am a huge creative genius at times. You're probably thinking, wait, what? That's not genius. Well, hey, I didn't say this time. I just said times in general. X, okay, I've got a cool idea. Where's my sword? Oh, here it is. Haha, nice. Still got it. There's no logic to this one. I just felt like flexing my samurai skills. Why? I have an idea. Let's move this line down here. That's a check from me. Get it? Because it looks like a tick now. I have no idea how the alphabet works. Final letter Z. And here's my lowest case version. This is not a forward slash. Look, that's a forward slash. My letter is smaller and at more of an angle. Okay, fine. I'll also give it 2 dots. There. Now it looks like a dissatisfied face, which is probably how you feel after watching this video. This is also the new way of spelling subscribe. Be sure to do that for more pointless content. Ever wondered what it would look like if gravity got involved with the alphabet? Yeah, this is probably why they're fixed in place, but let's pretend they're not. A. And now this is how letters should have all been designed, because look, as soon as I flip my little magic gravity switch, everything stays in place. The same cannot be said for B. Now, lowercase b, luckily whoever made that clearly thought of this because they gave it that little stump. Uppercase B though, yeah. Okay, let's get to work. So I'm going to start with the original B to keep it recognizable. Then I'm basically going to flip it and reverse it. No, this is not Fergie's song, Grow Up. Then I'm going to reattach that to the original B. Kinda now looks like a logo for a new tech startup company. But more importantly, has it fixed our problem? Only one way to find out. Job done. C. Our first letter with an annoyingly round base that brings us into a world of problems. It's the kind of troublemaker that when physics are introduced, takes a logo like CNN, for example, to this. I mean, who wants a company just called NN? Now, because uppercase and lowercase are basically identical shapes, we're just going to treat them the same. So C's problem is that when you introduce physics, it rolls onto its back like an overturned tortoise. And this letter has no legs or neck to swing itself back over, so it will die there. Sorry, I'm not allowed to intervene in nature. We just have to let this happen. Alright, fine, but just this once. To save-proof this idiot letter from itself, I'm going to attach a balloon to its neck and pump it up just enough to have it stand tall. Gotta be careful not to add too much helium though. Don't want to have it end up in the outer atmosphere. Moving on, lowercase d, get out of here, you get a pass. Uppercase D, hold up, don't be going anywhere. Don't worry, you're not in trouble. I do have an easy fix for you though. Just goes to show, sometimes no modification is needed. A simple readjustment is all it takes. I think we can all learn from D. Okay, sorry, I'll stop with the life lessons. E, and this is a refresher. One of the uppercase letters that doesn't instantly faceplant when I do this. And whilst the lowercase isn't the worst letter when gravity is on, it is now angled a bit too much to the left. And the problem seems to be, in my expert opinion, the weight distribution. But I don't want to modify every single letter to the point where it looks unrecognizable. There's enough fake people in this world anyway, am I right? Did I say people? I meant letters. Anyway, I got a question. How can you change the weight distribution of E without changing its shape? Go on, pause the video. I'll give you a few seconds to think. Couldn't get it? Well, let me show you. I'm going to start by hollowing out the nose, then replacing that cavity with a ton of lead, round it off with a sander, a new lick of paint, and voila. No one could tell the difference, and now its weight has been realigned with the center. By the way, don't pull me up on the realities of physics on this one. I'm not willing to defend myself in the comments. F is another typographical failure. It's like they never even thought a video like this would be made when they made the original alphabet. Imagine how embarrassed they must feel right now. But yeah, without any changes, these Fs are doomed to fail. Now, I kinda always saw the F as a frail old man with a bad back, so the only kind thing to do would be to give him a walking stick just to help keep him upright. We'll do the same for the uppercase F too. Looking at this now, this is clearly just House MD in disguise as a letter. The G family. Wow, we have a lot of work on our hands with these two. I mean, for a start, they don't even look like the same letter. I'd get a DNA test if I were them. We'll start with the uppercase, and I have a simple yet effective solution. Rather than just flatten the bottom, why don't we draw it like this? Looks a bit more funky. I'm gonna stick with that funky theme for the other one, and since with gravity on it does this, we can deduce that it's clearly a weight distribution problem again. So instead of connecting the base on this side, let's cross it over like that. Now it looks like a unique desk lamp, or the Pixar lamp with severe seasonal depression. H, finally, the first letter since A that is steady enough to save me a bit of work. Good job. Lowercase I, why couldn't you be like that? Or even like your big brother, literally has a pair of feet on each side. We're gonna have to be pretty extreme with this makeover. Let's try a leg on this side. Oops. Okay, yeah, we should have seen that coming. Okay, then guess we gotta also have a leg on this side as well. There, sorted. How? Why does this kind of look familiar? I've definitely seen this somewhere before. Wait, who are you guys? So for J, I have some bad news, guys. I wrote to the council to see if we could get some construction done for these two because, well, look at them. They have zero hope of standing alone. But they wrote back and basically told me they were aware of the problem, but there's nothing they plan on doing about it. So I have a very interesting idea. I'm going to create a whole new letter that blends the two together. And I know you're looking at this and thinking, what the hell have I created? This literally solves none of the falling over problems. But wait, that horizontal line is actually nailed to the wall. And I slotted the top dot of the J above it and hung the lower part beneath which hovers below it because, surprise, they're magnetic. Yeah, this has to be the dumbest video idea yet. K literally just says K, I'm good, move on. You don't have to tell me twice. Next we got L, and this is probably the worst letter of the bunch. It's just a line, so I think it deserves to be sent to the dungeon and punished. Introducing the new Bound by Shackles version. Good luck falling over now. M and N clearly cheated off each other's test papers, but luckily they both chose the right answers and got away with it. Not even a wobble when placed on a flat surface. Great job. O stands for opposite, which funnily enough is the exact thing it is from stable. It's hard to use them in things like logo design when the letters aren't placed on a flat surface. Take the Chipotle logo for example. Now turn on realistic physics and that O is rolling off and taking out all the other letters with it. Now I was going to use the hydraulic press again, but we saw how that went in the last video, and I actually wanted a letter to remain by the time we were done with it. So whilst I was looking over the O closely, pondering ways to modify it from rolling off curved lines, I noticed if you zoom in, you'll see that there's a tiny little plug. So what we're going to do is we're going to take that out and just let it down a bit. Yep, keep going, can't take any chances, and that should do it. Flatter than a pancake. P is like a newborn baby that can't yet support the weight of its own humongously proportioned head on its own weak neck. So I'm going to give it a set of training wheels, since it clearly needs them in its infant lifestyle. Q, and you know I will take any opportunity to cut corners, so I'm going to do the exact same thing for lowercase q. Uppercase Q, there's absolutely no reason for it to be elevated like that, literally just showing off. So I'm going to bend that sticky out part and just lay it flat. Bring it back down to moral and physical size. Uppercase R, please could you inform your little brother it needs 2 legs to stand on, not 1? In fact, to fix lowercase r, all I'm going to do is scoot it a few centimeters to the right and rest it up against the big R. Now it can't fall over. Side note, when using this alphabet, you can only now use the letter R if it's a double R word. Otherwise, this one just doesn't work. S, this one isn't actually too bad. Even with gravity on, it only wobbles a little bit if I push it. Okay, yeah, I'm starting to see the problem here. I've got a new solution for this one, but for it to work, I've got to leave it outside while it's raining for a bit and wait first. So we'll come back to it in a few letters. T. Now I'm looking at these two and seeing a very easy solve for both of them. Simply take this horizontal bar and shift it downwards. See, I fixed this one without adding a whole new extra load of parts or unnecessary changes. Just simple innovation. God, I really am brilliant. U. Alright, let's flip the switch so we can see what we actually need to fix here. Ooh, surprising. I didn't expect the lowercase u to stay in place, but that little serif on the bottom seems to be just enough. Unlike this idiot, gonna need my trusty hammer again. There, now this shape is looking a lot more uniform. V. Okay, I can't be the only one who looked at the letter V and thought it looked like an ice cream cone. Don't make me self-conscious, guys. I just enjoy a little sweet treat now and then. Anyway, originally I came up with this because how do you stop an ice cream from falling over? You hold it with your hand. Then I came to a gross realization, and that this hand isn't actually connected to anything, so when we reintroduce physics, yeah, ice cream all over the floor. So instead I invented this holder which you can place the cone in. You know, since you won't be able to hold it since your hand actually got severed somehow. W and X, another pair of absolute goats, making it easy for me. Oh yeah, and we need to go back to S to see if my experiment worked. Come on, get in here. Oh yeah, here we go. You can see what I was thinking here. It's filled that base up like a kitchen sink. And if I try to wobble it, yeah, okay, so not completely solid and probably only a temporary solution, but I'm clocking off soon and that's the best you'll get from me for now. Why? Why are you built like that? I mean, I'm all for letter positivity, but you're built like someone made you with their eyes closed. Alright, enough slating it for its looks. How do we fix it up? Ooh, I know, let's do this and make it into a fancy looking wine glass. Oh yeah, now that's the sophistication it's been missing. And finishing off the way we started, with the letter Z, a letter that doesn't actually need any adjustment. You might be surprised to know that the square root symbol is number 10 on this list. This one lures you in with a false sense of fun, an intense sudden drop, like a playground slide designed by a geometry teacher with a secret thrill-seeking side. The descent is smooth, confident, even elegant, until you remember that corner bit at the end isn't a slide. It's a literal death trap. You slam into it at 10 miles an hour squared and immediately snap both your legs like that one unfortunate pencil that you raged at after failing some simple math homework. Number 9. Plus sign. Unlike the symbol itself, this slide experience is not positive. It is in fact a cruel joke. You get up there expecting options, 4 directions, a choice of paths, maybe a bit of spice. But no, you sit at the top and realise you've got a pure cliff drop in front of you. You sort of wiggle forward half an inch, then decide to take the leap of faith, and it doesn't last long. And yes, you simply end up with pure negative emotions. If the square root was a high-speed accident, then this is the waiting room before the crash. Number 8. Sigma. Now this one's interesting. At first glance, you might think, oh, a fancy W with academic trauma attached. Rotate it 90 degrees left, and it does look like it wants to be a slide. You start on either of the pillars, jump across the adrenaline-inducing gap, and finally land on the slope. And you might think you've made it safe and sound, but nope, you quite literally get hit in the face with a wall at the end of it all. It's like a roller coaster built by a committee of physicists who hate children. The kind of slide you exit via stretcher, if you're lucky. Number 7. Delta. Finally, something that respects the craft. The delta symbol is a solid triangle, no nonsense, no sudden ledges, just pure aerodynamic potential. You launch from the peak with grace, gather speed like a ski jumper, and absolutely yeet yourself off the edge. Is there a landing? No, just void. But for those 2.3 seconds, you feel like an Olympian. Triangle-shaped triumph with just a hint of doom. A true slide for thrill seekers with questionable judgment. Number 6. Micro symbol. This one's deceptive. You start at the top thinking, wow, this curve is luxurious. It's like the slide equivalent of slipping into silk sheets. But halfway down, you realize you're not exiting. You're being cradled into a U-shaped purgatory. You just sit there, trapped, legs dangling, existential dread creeping in. Still, it's a cozy trap. Good for introverts, bad for momentum. Number 5. Partial symbol. The partial symbol is basically the rebellious cousin of the number 6. It starts you off with a cheeky inverted drop slide, very gravity-defying, like a water slide invented by Dr. Seuss. It then brings you down into a swirl around a tight coil. You'll have enough speed to do a full loop in this thing, maybe even 2. Great for style points. Bonus, it actually looks like it wants to be slid on, which is more than we can say for most of these symbols. Number 4. Variable symbol. Now, this is a crossover episode we didn't know we needed. The regular X is bland. It's what you mark on a treasure map or your last test. But this curvy variable version, chef's kiss. It's got attitude. You can approach it from the top left or top right. Both give you a satisfyingly symmetrical ride. You cross the center in a glorious glide and exit with the grace of a gymnastist mounting a pommel horse. Not the fastest, but easily the classiest. A slide for people who correct other people's math jokes on Reddit. Number 3. Similar to symbol. Sliding down this is like surfing on mild sarcasm. It's quite literally a little wave, a lazy undulation. No sharp turns, no drama, just a mellow coast down a mathematically ambiguous squiggle. You won't break any records, or bones, but you will feel slightly superior to everyone on the plus sign. It's basically the subtract sign's more artistic friend, a slide for poets, or tired grad students who just want one thing to go right in their day. You could say this one's actually similar to a real slide. Yeah, I'm sorry. Number 2. Brace symbol. Okay, now we're getting serious. Rotate the brace 45 degrees left and suddenly you're on a wild, chaotic carnival ride built out of punctuation. The descent is bumpy. You lurch, you rattle, you question your decisions. Halfway through, there's a trough that catches you like a nervous lifeguard. And just when you think you're safe, you're launched off the edge like a catapulted comma. This is not a slide you walk away from. This is a slide that you write a memoir about while still falling mid-air through the void. Oh yeah, also, wear a helmet. Number 1. Integral symbol. And here it is, the undisputed champion of symbolic sliding. The integral symbol. This thing is a unit, a towering drop that curves like a question mark, wondering what it did to deserve this much velocity. You start up high, already fearing for your life. Your speed gets multiplied faster than a caffeinated logarithm, and then bam, you hit the curved ramp at the base. But this isn't a stop. Oh no, this ramp launches you into orbit. You go from calculus to chaos in under 3 seconds. It's not just a slide, it's a rite of passage. A physics-defying miracle that says, you're not solving this, you're surviving it. Barely. Lowercase b is number 10, as is the absolute worst excuse for a sword. It looks like an urumi, a flexible, whip-like blade from India that was probably designed by someone who thought injuries should be a team sport. Lowercase b channels that same chaotic energy. You swing it, it swings back. You think you're hitting the enemy, but somehow you're now bleeding from your own kneecap. It unravels like a ribbon in a rhythmic gymnastics routine, but with more self-inflicted damage. Stylish, sure. Practical? Only if your endgame is hospital bills. Number 9. Uppercase T. Still pretty much nonsensical as a sword. Uppercase T is essentially a pickaxe that got lost on its way to a Minecraft server. It's got that classic T shape, great for digging through rock or maybe passive-aggressively doing some home DIY, but swing it in combat and you'll find it's about as aerodynamic as a shopping cart. With so much weight at the top, it's so tough to swing that you'll already have been stabbed 5 times before you've made an attack. You could call it a sword, but only if you're very confident and legally blind. Number 8. Lowercase I. At first glance, you're thinking, hang on, this is just a line. It's got that clean, straight edge. And yes, that simplicity is deadly. But here's the problem: no crossguard. You swing with force, your hand slides forward, and suddenly your palms look like tomato ragu. It's elegant, yes, but it's also a lawsuit waiting to happen. Number 7. Uppercase W. We've completely abandoned sword logic here. Uppercase W is basically 3 stabbing points and vague hope. You're not slicing anything, you're punching it while holding a jagged piece of metal and praying you don't lose a finger. It's more of a knuckle duster than a blade. If you walk into battles with this, you're either a genius or someone who lost a bet and has to cosplay as Wolverine. Number 6. Uppercase L. Now we're cooking. This L has a perfect 90-degree angle that mimics a kukuri, the Nepalese blade known for its wicked curve and ability to split things open like a watermelon. Go after your enemies like they are poorly prepared firewood. It's hefty, practical, and terrifying in a very geometric kind of way. Side note, I've seen videos of people losing their fingers to these things, so just be careful. Number 5. Uppercase J. There's something slightly piratey about this one. The big swooping curve of the J doesn't scream precision, it screams yar. Replace your hand with this perfect pirate hook. It practically begs to get tangled in someone's ribs. It's not really a sword, it's something you brandish while yelling something incomprehensible and drinking rum. Blackbeard would be proud. Number 4. Lowercase x. Looks useless, right? Like the world's least impressive throwing star. But unsheath those 2 lines making the X, and suddenly you've got twin daggers. Fast, flashy, and ideal for someone who fights while doing parkour. Lowercase x is more of a concept. It's the kind of weapon you dual wield while backflipping off a castle wall. Bonus points for being symmetrical and edgy. Number 3. Lowercase r. This is a letter with swagger. The rounded top, that descending tail, it's got the silhouette of a scimitar forged by someone with strong opinions and a dramatic cloak. You can practically hear it slicing through sand and outdated colonialism. It curves just enough to imply elegance, but not so much that it forgets how to stab. A real statement piece, perfect for duels or decapitations. Number 2. Lowercase f. Now this is what we call a weapon. Lowercase f is the cutlass your swashbuckling alter ego dreams about. The horizontal bar at the top makes for a perfect handguard, and the curve of the stem gives it that classic pirate slashing energy. It's compact, curved, and really ready to carve. The only downside? You'll have to explain to everyone that yes, it's a letter, and yes, it's sharp enough to remove limbs. Number 1. Lowercase t. Turn it upside down and you've got the most perfect, symmetrical broadsword you've never considered. The top becomes a hilt, the stem is a blade. It's simple, deadly, and balanced like a librarian with a vendetta. Lowercase t isn't just a sword, it's a statement. It says, I value minimalism, but I will still ruin your day. It's got a crossguard, reach, and the kind of clean silhouette that would make a medieval knight weep. If you're forging a letter into a sword and you don't pick T, you're doing it wrong. Full stop.